Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Jessenia, and I'm here with Carlo. And today we're going to be delving a little bit deeper into health and fitness. I know we discussed it last time on Tuesday a little bit, and we talked about different diets and things like that. But today we were hoping to go a little bit more into the fitness aspect of it, things that we like to do, and we'd love to hear your tips as well. So yeah, let's get into it. I guess we can start it out with Carlo, what does fitness really mean to you?
Um, I have this really cool quote that I've sort of been living off of for the past 7 months. It's called "Movement is motivation."
I
So,
love that. Yeah.
kind of corny, kind of cheesy, but actually, it's really been helping. I have like a Spotify playlist that I made on my phone called "Movement is Motivation," and it helps me. Honestly, it helps me get up some mornings, right? When some mornings I'm just like not about it, and I'm really tired, still sleepy from the next day, whatever it is, or the previous day, I should say. I just say to myself, movement's motivation. I just like get up out of bed.
Yeah.
And actually, lately I've been starting with morning cardio whenever I can. It's
Okay.
it's been a good thing to do whenever possible. Wake up earlier in the morning, get some cardio done. I sort of just feel better for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm rambling here, but it's changed my motivation for other things in life. I feel like when I have control on my physical fitness, I have control on other aspects of my life too.
Yeah.
And so I kind of think it goes hand in hand, and that whole thing of like movement is motivation really just struck a chord with me, and it really helped me out. When I became more into fitness, I started doing better in school, and I think that those two things are related. I don't think that it's not related, that when I consistently was hitting the gym, I was also consistently studying and learning things that I wasn't as interested in before. I was kind of pushing myself to do those things. And actually, it's funny because an enjoyment can come out of it too, which I'm sure you've experienced in the past, right? So like, you know, going to the gym every single day, pushing yourself to do exercise every single day might not be enjoyable at first, but after a while, I suddenly turned into a gym rat in the gym for like almost 2 hours. I lose track of time on my watch sometimes, like measuring it, and I just like, wow, okay, I've been here for that long. It becomes sort of a routine, and the same thing happens for studying and like doing other important things. I think that they're related. So it's changed within the past year. I'd say it's really changed. I mean, I've always been somewhat active, somewhat fit.
Yeah.
I got super fit in college because I went through a music theater program, and so I
Okay.
would always joke around with my friends. I feel like I'm actually wearing my Sheridan grad shirt right now.
Oh, nice.
This is my favorite sweater to wear at the gym because I can just kind of have my mask on, my
Yeah.
hood up, and my headphones in, and I just like I'm doing my thing.
Oh, you work out in a hoodie. I would
Yeah.
die.
Oh,
I
I love working out in a hoodie at first, like getting all that sweat out, and then because it's good for your body, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
then
I wear my sweatband. Yeah, that definitely helps. So
yeah, and then after removing it, and just like it's the best feeling ever. But I called myself like the Sheridan soldier back in
what was it
college.
about musical theater? Why that?
I think
Was
it
it
was
just
just this
you're
like,
in front of an audience all the time and
well, it was this need to be like cast as the hero. You know what I mean?
oh,
It was like,
okay.
of course you want to be that, like, I'm not tall, so that's already like crossing one off my list. But at least I could be like that, like jacked hero archetype. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
think I was sort of like, oh, like, this is something that I could get like typecast as if I had this certain body or like this certain look, right? So
Yeah.
it was always like striving at school to like sort of be like that.
Mhm.
Um, but then this past year, so that was in like, I'd say like 27 to 2019,
Right.
2017 to 2019.
Yeah.
And then I think over the pandemic, I definitely didn't exercise. Like
Mhm.
I I mean, we were inside all the time, and it was
No, I
it
don't
was
blame you.
cold, and my seasonal depression kicked in.
Yeah, no, it was depressing overall, like the last
Yeah,
thing, I sometimes see the reveals on TikTok where March 2020 I was like this, and then like now I'm like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you accomplished so much over 18 months, whereas I felt I felt the opposite. I felt like I didn't have any motivation and stuff during that time. But no, I agree with everything you were saying. I think sometimes there are those mornings when you don't want to even get out of bed and start your day, but I think not even a full workout, but a quick, sometimes I'll do some, a few ab exercises on the floor, or I'll do something to kind of just get your, heart going, and you feel more awake, and it definitely it fuels you for the rest of the day. And I know some people are like more morning gym people, but I like going at night because it's kind of like it's my me time at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I just switched to
no,
nights.
sorry.
I just switched to nights right now because my schedule is super crazy. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and I actually think I prefer it
Yeah.
because when I've done it, and I like both. Like I think I like cardio in the morning. That's because I like to go on a nice jog or a nice run
Right.
first thing to sort of clear my head. But what you're saying about like night workouts is super interesting too, because I think like the whole concept of I don't have anywhere to be after this
Exactly. Yeah.
is like that's great.
And
Like,
yeah,
you
and,
know, like,
and it tires you out too. So I feel like I sleep better afterwards as well.
yeah. I mean, I take pre-workouts, so I really
Oh,
have to tire myself out.
okay. Yeah, no, some people have the opposite effect. They say it wakes me up more actually.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, as long as I sleep later, because yeah, I've always been a night owl type of person. So if I go
Mm.
to the gym at around 8 or something, and I'm not sleeping until 1 o'clock, then I feel like I
Mm.
still have enough time. So yeah, no, I also wasn't super into it as much in high school, and then my mom started going to Zumba, and I started
Oh,
going
cool.
with her, and I loved that. So then I ended up getting my Zumba certification, so I can like teach it now. And then doing more of the other stuff like that too, like the weightlifting and the cardio stuff. And now, yeah, it's definitely become like a relaxation thing for me rather than work. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
do it as like, oh, I have to cross it out on my list today. I have to do it. It's something, almost annoying. But I think the more you do it, the more consistent you get with it, it almost becomes like fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like your body craves it in a
Yeah.
way too, right? And I think it's like once you cross a certain threshold, like you were saying, it begins to become something that you enjoy doing, and it's something that just becomes like a daily habit. Like I talk about this all the time, and my friends are always making fun of me. They're always like, "Oh, you did 75 hard. Tell us again how you did 75 hard." Right?
Yeah.
it, it was at a time where I was going through um, a period that was like pretty hard for me mentally. Coming out of the pandemic, things were starting to go like back to normal. I was kind of like, whoa, what am I doing? Right.
Yeah.
And that's when I started it. And it just like completely shifted my gears. And I feel like ever since then, at like sort of what I was talking about before, how I think having when I felt like I had control over my physical fitness and my physical body, and I could like, lift heavy weights and kind of push myself to the absolute limit, like physically, mentally, I feel like it gave me the strength to kind of go there also, because I think they're completely related.
They
um,
are. Yeah.
and to just sort of like stay motivated with work, with school, figure out everything that need to be figured out, just like everyday life stuff, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before I feel like I would kind of like hide in the corner a bit for myself and like not want to deal with certain things. But
Yeah.
like having control of my physical fitness gave me the confidence to keep pushing forward and to like kill it, quite frankly, quite frankly, so like, yeah. For those of you online, everyone who's watching who doesn't know what 75 hard is, it's a program that Andy Friesela designed. Really cool program. It's 2 45-minute workouts a day. One of them has to be outside. You have to follow a specific diet. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every day. for 75 days straight. And if you miss a day or miss a step, you have to go back and start at day 1. So
Did you ever have to
I did.
restart?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. I restarted from, like, I think I got up till day 11 one time and I restarted.
Oh, okay.
And like it
That's
happens,
you have a
right?
lot of commitment, yeah, to
Yeah,
restart.
it happens. And then I think when I hit day 11, I was like super upset at myself because it was something silly. Like another part of it is taking progress pictures every day.
Oh, okay.
So that was a big part of it too. And I think that's what I missed on my day 11. And then I went back to day
Mm.
1 and got all the way through to day 75 after that.
Looking back at those pictures, do you see a noticeable difference at the
Yeah.
end?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I've never been someone who's been like never been someone who's been like overweight for my body type or anything like that, but I noticed a huge significant difference in um, like muscle mass and just like how lean I was, and also just like my strength went up and is still going up now because of that program. I felt like
yeah.
um, it was at a time where we didn't have access to gyms is when I started it, so I had to get creative, and I kind of built like a home workout set up in my garage. I bought dumbbells. Anytime Walmart had a sale on like any of that stuff, because it's super expensive, right? I would go and get it whenever I could,
Mm.
and also do body weight stuff and get creative. But luckily, I have a friend who's a personal trainer, so she helped me out. And I would do workouts with her sometimes, and my friends were always super supportive. Like, a buddy of mine would be like, "Hey, I could catch an outside workout with you today. We could go on a bike ride," like that kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
I could do a walk some days as one of my outdoor workout.
Yep.
And that's the thing too. Like, it doesn't have to be an intense, like, workout every single time. Some days your outdoor workout will just be a walk or a little bike ride.
Mhm.
But
It's
yeah,
more about the consistency and the fact that it's
yes.
something you're doing every single
Yeah.
day.
And
Because
I think that's just the key to the gym in general. Like, it's not about going, really hard one week and lifting, 300 pounds, 400 pounds on whatever deadlift, squat, whatever it is. Sure, you're going to see muscle growth from that, but it's more about the consistency of hitting it every single day.
right.
With taking a rest day in between, of course, I have to remind myself of that.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I just like, honestly, because it became such a personal time that I needed
I'm
to.
not that committed yet. I remember when I don't have to go.
Yeah. Well, like, it just becomes such a personal time to me, and
Yes.
like it's a time for me to like put on my headphones and listen to my music and like make a playlist while I'm working out, and it's just like, yeah, it's just me time,
And it's nice how accessible it's become too, with all like the
Yeah.
workouts you see on TikTok and YouTube. Like you don't have to pay, like if you can't go to a gym, you really don't have to pay anything to keep up with it. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
I always encourage people, like, this past week has been stressful with midterms or anything, and I haven't been able to go to the gym, but last night I just went for a walk, and honestly, like, it made the world of a difference. I felt so much better after, because just getting yourself out of that same zone you've been in the whole day,
Yeah.
um and it really does just clear your mind, I feel. So
Yeah. Mind,
uh
body, spirit clears
yeah, for
clears
sure.
everything, I
And
feel
there
like.
is a direct, relation between your physical health and your mental health. And I think that's whenever you're feeling better physically, it translates to your mental health and vice versa as well. So, you know, people have come to me and talked to me about their anxiety and depression before, for example,
Yeah.
but then when they've started consistently working out, or doing some form of exercise, whether it's going on a walk or bike riding, something like that, they've definitely felt a lot better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like the two are connected. They have to be.
have to
Uh,
be, yeah, yeah. So
like,
do you remember at the beginning when you were starting out as a beginner? I know a lot of people are intimidated at first to, go to the gym or start working out, but for me, I think sometimes you just have to, you have to just go for it. Like you
yeah.
put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, and that's what kind of helps you learn the best.
Yeah.
But what was it like for you? to
Well,
learn?
I mean, like, let's just talk about the weight room.
Yeah.
Like, the weight room can be a very intimidating place, like especially for a brand new lifter, right? Because number one, you're focused on, at first, at least, you're focused on everybody else. So you're you're looking at the guys who are confident enough to wear the tank tops
Yeah.
with literally nothing spilling out but bulging muscles, right? And then
Us.
you're looking at the guys who are like super lean, who have, veins coming out everywhere. And you're
Mhm.
like, whoa, right? For starting off, like, scary. Uh,
Yeah.
and then there are the other people, that are they're looking at you, they're seeing what you're doing, and because like that happens when people are resting in between sets, like they're looking around, they're looking at everybody that's at the gym. That's kind of just natural, and it's natural for humans to compare, and like we've talked about that like on this podcast a lot. So like entering the weight room in itself is just like an accomplishment, like check. Like you're there, good.
Yeah.
That's like step one, right? um and then you're thinking about your form, and you're going to be like, okay, like, am I doing this right? Is anyone going to, is anyone going to make fun of my form? Is anyone going to try and correct me? Am I going to be intimidated by someone who like is going to come and correct my form? Like all of those things have happened to me when I first started lifting or like exercising, and it's like totally normal, and it's totally part of the process. And then when you kind of take off these glasses that say, oh, actually nobody gives a crap
Yeah. No
about
one's watching
about
you.
you
That's
at
something
all.
that I had. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Who
like no, no one actually
cares?
really cares what you're
Yeah.
doing. And I like this quote that I saw on TikTok the other day. It was like, be too busy watering your own grass, and working on your own grass to notice others,
Yeah.
right? Notice if others are greener. And then I think if you stay in that mindset and you just keep grinding and you keep going, eventually you're going to get to a point where the biggest guy in the gym comes up to you and goes, looking big, buddy. Right? Like that day is going to come. Or the girl who squats 500 pounds is going to give you a fist bump on your way out. Like that kind of stuff happens. And like that specific situation happened to me the other day, and I was like, okay. Like,
Wow.
all right, gaining some respect here, I see.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it's, yeah, you have to cross that certain threshold, and I can't. There are a lot of people in my weight class who are lifting so much heavier than me, but it's not about you. It's you. It's not about you versus them. It's you versus you, right? And how you're going to start like leveling yourself up and like bettering yourself, and that's what it's always been about.
That's why those progress pictures and all of those things are so important
Yeah.
to take, because not only, they serve as a motivation for you, but then you are able to look at you versus you, that, this was me a month ago and this is me now. Like, and
Mhm.
I think a lot of the times, you might not see any physical changes within the first 3-4 weeks, but over time, like, they do come. And I think again, it is, persistence, and it's continuing that grind of it, even
Yeah.
if you don't necessarily want to in the beginning. But
Yeah.
and especially in the beginning, I would say honestly, you find something fun to do. That's what makes you more like accustomed to the surroundings, and then you keep going back, like with what I did with Zumba. I used to just go in for the hour, go back, and then I got curious and wanted to see what else is there, what else do they have to offer. So that's why I started doing the other things like that as well. So
Yeah. I've never
yeah,
actually tried Zumba.
really. And do you
Yeah,
like to dance?
I love to dance. Okay.
Really? Okay, you should do
Yeah,
it.
I would love to try it. Literally today, so I teach a grade 11 drama at a school downtown Toronto,
Right. Yeah.
and all day I was just, I told my students, like, I just want to dance. I want to dance. I want to tap dance. And I think that's a part of me that's missing that Sheridan soldier that I was talking about earlier. Because part of our fitness there was we had dance classes 4 times a week. Like
Wow.
literally not possible to like be active or fit. Like you were, right? Like you were, no matter what. You
So as
had
part of your program, you had to do it.
part of the program. Part of the program.
Wow.
These are like pretty intense classes too. Like
Mhm.
tap dancing is all cardio. Like one
Yeah.
of the best forms of cardio besides like jump rope in my opinion, tap dancing. Seriously, it's a good time. It's a very sweaty time.
Did you learn all these different types of dances then, or?
Yeah. So we're trained in tap, ballet, jazz, you name it. So
Wow, okay.
yeah, ballet is focusing on flexibility, which is super
Right.
cool. Yeah.
No, I always found with Zumba, I never felt like I was actually working out because it's all like fun music and just a good time in general. And the hour would just always fly by because you're dancing, but at the same time, it is moves too. So sorry, exercises at the same time. So, you'll do like a squat, but then you'll like spin around. So it's kind of like a nice, balance, I find. Then you check like at the end and you've, done like 15,000 steps and it's great. You don't even feel it really. So yeah, I think I would encourage everyone to find, I'm sure you can find one thing you love. I know some people love to jump rope, for example.
I love jump rope.
Yeah.
That's something I got into that helped me start my 75 hard, because I wanted to learn a new skill. It was a skill that I could use for fitness, and I was like, you know what, this is a really cool thing. And I looked into the benefits of it, and it literally, one of the benefits are it helps build bone density, which is a common problem genetically within my family. And so I was like, okay, this is something like really cool. I like doing it. It's a nice little hobby to kind of work on. And I got one of those speed ropes. Have you ever seen like anybody do tricks with the speed ropes before?
No, what is a speed rope?
Okay, we have to talk about this, because it's just the coolest thing. Like, it is so cool. You'll probably hear my really loud mechanical keyboard, everyone. I'm super sorry about that. That's my little gaming keyboard. But so speed ropes are basically meant for tricks, things like crossovers. Here. This
What do you want to do?
This one is one that I watch all the time. So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
This is Rush Athletics. And I'll just share it without audio, but we'll just kind of take a look at how he does things here. It's super cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super intense. And he's going so quick. Like, it's such a high level of cardio, like doing the spins, doing the side swipes, double unders.
Like a break dance almost.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so super cool. This is one that I watch often, and he has
you follow him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He has YouTube tutorials on like how to do tricks.
Oh, okay.
And there's this whole community of like jump ropers and like trick jumpers, and I never knew about it before, but I got super into it, and I was like, whoa, this is like one of the coolest forms of cardio. So I got really into that over the summer. It's so good for you. So
yeah, I've heard like, I think rope for 10 minutes is like the equivalent of walking for an hour or something like that. Like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I never had abs until I started to jump rope. honestly, because it's just like, for me, I'm not someone who like enjoys doing the Stairmaster or the regular cardio machines, or the stationary bike. Like, I find it kind of boring. And I think there was because there wasn't really something to work towards. Whereas with this, it was like, okay, I'm jumping and I'm learning the boxer step today, or I'm jumping and I'm learning the side swipe today, or I'm trying to learn the crossover today, like double unders, right? Like, there's so many tricks to kind of like level up in and master. And then you work on your speed, and you put on an EDM song and you see if you can go to that pace. It's super fun. Yeah.
No, definitely try it. Yeah.
It's super fun. And like, they're also like super inexpensive too. Like, you can get a speed rope at Walmart for like $4.
Oh now. Wow. Okay.
Walmart has a really great fitness section.
Yeah, I've bought my weights from there as well.
Yeah. And it's not like extremely unreasonable. I know Canadian Tire, of course, has like, you can buy kind of your own home gym set up right there, but
Yeah.
I just have one super close to my house, so that's why I'm saying so.
Mhm.
But it's interesting how like when you get into this kind of stuff too, you also care more about your diet. Um, you start to care about your like vitamins that you're taking. Like for me, I got super into making sure I was taking my B12, my zinc, magnesium, obviously vitamin D and C like almost every day. Um, got into another few supplements, obviously like your protein powders, your creatine monohydrate. That's one to like aid in muscle growth. It can also be found, I think it was like, so creatine monohydrate is like a supplement that you can take that really helps muscle recovery and muscle growth. And you would have to eat, you can just take like a spoonful of it. And I
Mhm.
think the fact is you'd have to eat like a pound of red meat, like a nice big steak in order to get the same amount that you would get of creatine monohydrate
Wow.
in just like a spoonful of it if you're supplementing it. And it's not very expensive. It's very inexpensive. So I
Yeah.
definitely recommend creatine monohydrate for anyone who's starting to lift. Um, another great part of it is that it helps the water flow to all your muscles, which is, it's interesting because this winter, right? Wintertime is typically bulking season for a lot of the bodybuilders or the people who work out. And so
Right.
a lot of the time when you see someone describe somebody as, oh, he looks cloudy, like he looks big, right? That's usually because they're on, creatine monohydrate,
Yeah.
really popular supplement. But you get into all this stuff and you get into like making sure, you're taking the appropriate things for your body. I'm not like super into calorie counting, but I do know the range of like calories. I'm like just about the range of calories I'm having per day.
Yeah. I try to do
And
the
that's
same.
just for me and my goals. Like, I don't know if you do that at all. We talked about my fitness pal on the last
We did, yeah.
podcast.
No, I don't track like every single, I know some people weigh everything out, but I do try, and I find that especially when I'm doing low carb, then a lot of the things tend to be lower in calorie anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do like to have a range. I mean, I'm a short person, so I feel like my range is sometimes like for cutting, for example, it should be around 1,000 because my base level is around
Wow. Only
1,200.
1,000.
Yeah, I'm 4'10", right? So I'm very,
Whoa.
yeah.
Okay.
So um
Not woe to you being 410.
that too.
But no. I know lots of people that are like 410. It's not that short. Like I'm not that tall either. So like I'm not gonna say how tall I am, but
Well, you're definitely over.
okay, no, you did it, so I'll say I'm about 5'7", 5'7" ish.
Oh,
Oh.
that's not short. Like I'm
Yeah,
not,
but it's not tall.
I don't know. Mine's definitely genetics. My parents are short, so
Okay.
I got it too. But
I always say Italians are small but ferocious people. um,
but I was gonna ask you about
yeah.
cardio versus lifting because I know a lot of people, some people, I don't know if it's a myth or not, but like when I first started, they were like, okay, if you're trying to lose weight, start with just doing cardio. Once you lose that fat, then you begin the weightlifting. But
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
always thought
common.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it isn't like the 50-50, like a split better to do because I've also heard, weightlifting, for example, burns more calories and it lasts like I forget the term for it, but even if you're not working out, you keep on burning calories throughout the day because it has like that lasting effect or something like that.
So cardio's okay, so how do I phrase this? It's not the weightlifting and it's not the cardio. It's
Mhm.
you're gonna burn your calories. You're gonna burn the calories that you need to burn. So like it's different for everybody.
Mhm.
But it's like the amount of work that you're willing to put into it and what you enjoy doing. You can absolutely lose weight just as fast lifting weights and staying lean and getting lean as much as you can while doing cardio. Like it's you might be a little quicker doing cardio depending on how much cardio you're doing and how long you're doing it for.
Mhm.
Um, but it really just it it's up to the individual person, whatever like that individual person is finding they enjoy more. If you are, someone who's always kind of done cardio, never, really try the whole weightlifting thing, you don't have to go the whole like bodybuilder route. You can just simply go for the athlete route. And there's a ton. And this is why like TikTok is so great. And I love to bring it up because like you can literally search like, athletic workouts, free weights. You can go into, workouts with machines, and they'll have like so many recommendations from like really great people who are actually like very, very knowledgeable on the app. And most of the time you can see their credentials via their body because they post it on the app. And it's like, of course, like don't, do the whole comparison thing, but these are people who really know what they're talking about. And you can get some solid advice from TikTok. You can also get some advice that's not so good, but I like to think TikTok is a pretty healthy platform in that way, where if like I've done this all the time. I got Chris Hemsworth's. Whoa. Chris Hemsworth, when he was doing Thor,
Yeah.
he posted his workout split online, and so I found it on TikTok the other day, and I tried it out for the first time. And I always thought that I could do a really great push day. So a push day would be like your chest and triceps, all the lifts that you're doing, you're pushing.
Yeah.
Pull day would be working, you already know this, but just for them at home, pull day would be like you're working your back, you're working your biceps, you're doing exercise that you're pulling the weight up. So yeah, a split like that is really, really good too if you're first starting out. Typically for me, what I like to do is I like to do like I have it up on my calendar just above my screen. That's why I'm looking. Like today's Thursday, so today is push day with some legs, and then tomorrow all legs, and the next day after that will be a pull day, so that'll be back in biceps. And so like split up your days like that, like work out those muscle groups at a time, and I guarantee you're going to see results, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to just tone up a little bit. Like if you have a nice split with an active rest day in the middle, or your active rest day on the weekends, where you're still active, right? Like for me, rest day is like, I'm not gonna like not do anything. Like I still go on walks. Maybe I'll get a little cardio in, but like rest days are more typically for when you're lifting weights. And if you're new to lifting weights and you haven't incorporated rest days before, make sure you do that, because that's also a part of muscle growth too.
I've heard your muscles grow while you're not working them actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I need to think about more. I've had 2 rest days this week just because my schedule has been super crazy, and that's like the first time it's been like that in like a while. So not my schedule, but the rest days.
The key is to become a teacher then, and
What's that?
Maybe the key is to become a teacher and start working full time, and you'll have all the rest days.
I think it's necessary, because teaching can be somewhat mentally draining, right? Yeah. And kind of emotionally draining depending on the students, of course. But no, I do love it. I really enjoy it. It's just that it can leave you feeling very tired, and long days. Sometimes it's hard to get that workout in at like 10:30, 11 o'clock when you're just coming home that day, right? Yeah. So like,
especially because you are on your feet, you are teaching a drama class
exactly
the whole day, so
yeah,
so it's a lot. But yeah, no, I think another interesting thing is looking at, as you mentioned, the Chris Hemsworth Thor workout. I looked at Beyonce's Coachella workout.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That was intense. It was, I don't know what she ate, but it was no meat, no sugar, no carbs. Yes. I think obviously no alcohol, no, like whatever, basically it was vegetables and fruits. That's and even some fruit I think she restricted as well, but hers was I guess so dramatic because she had just given birth to 2 twins, and then in 8 months she was performing at Coachella, and obviously she looked amazing, but it was extremely restrictive. Yeah
that sounds really restrictive. I definitely be careful with that. I mean, a lot of time when like a lot of times when celebrities come out with like their diet plan and the workout, I'm kind of like, ooh, careful there. Cause like if for someone who just like eliminate meat like
Mhm.
right away, who's like used to eating it, like, okay, you're gonna feel like really tired, like just a
Yeah.
heads up. Not only because you're like working out all the time now, because you're following this program, right? From this celebrity, but also the celebrity is saying don't eat meat. Your iron levels are gonna drop. You're gonna feel more tired, right? Um, yeah. So like, and you know what? The thing is, like, with working out and with fitness, it like you always hear that saying that goes like abs are made in the kitchen. But
Yeah.
it's so true. Like it really is. It's not even so much about, working your abs and doing sit-ups every single day. It's about what you eat.
Mhm.
And like it's such a common misconception because you can do 1,000 sit-ups and still be at a higher body fat level and your abs will not show.
Yeah.
Like they just will not show. And
Mhm.
then you can train your abs and have a lower body fat percentage, and obviously they will show. You
Yeah.
cannot train your abs, have a lower body fat percentage, and they will show.
Mhm.
It's all about your body fat percentage for the abs, and I feel like it's one of the most misunderstood kind of muscle groups and like things that like people kind of think about, because I feel like a lot of people train for abs and they eat for abs. And
Mhm.
you know what? It's not always healthy to be under 10% body fat all year round. Maybe
Mhm.
sometimes if you want to be, look good in the summer, that kind of thing, totally fine. But like all year round, it's not really necessary to have visible abs all year.
Yeah,
um,
I think, there is a, so far, whatever we've talked about is the good sides of obviously health
yeah.
and fitness, but there is a toxicity
Oh,
also of
100%.
diet culture too, and I think sometimes obviously people compare themselves to other people, but then not only other people, but influencers and celebrities who their whole job and their whole life essentially circles around looking good, right? Like that's they have to, whereas a regular person like me, for example, we have other responsibilities as well. We can't just kind of maneuver everything around going to the gym, or sometimes you can't eat healthy every single day. Sometimes you have to just grab that takeout or whatever it is. So I think that's another reason why a lot of people get, they don't stick with it for a long time, because it seems like it's
Yeah.
unsustainable, because I think they start out pushing themselves to the extreme limit, and
Because they
then
want to look a certain way,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then they
and then
don't
they get
achieve that
frustrated.
within the first year, and
Yeah.
they go, "Oh, I'm
First year, I'd
soft."
say first,
Right?
first 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you stuck around for a year, I'm sure you'll see something. But
It's also important to note that like more than half of the influencers online
mm,
are enhanced. Like
yeah.
that's just kind of how it is nowadays.
Mhm.
And I have no opinion on it. I think if you make your living off of it, if you are, doing personal training, if you're doing the social media thing and you want to be known for that, as
Yeah.
long as you kind of say like you acknowledge it and say, yeah, this is what I am using, this is what I have, that's okay. I don't really have an opinion on it. Um,
No, my thing again is just be transparent and open about it, because a
yes,
lot of
yeah,
people won't, I'm sure it happens with, especially with the female like influencers, and they
yeah.
won't say that they got different types of treatments or whatever it is, and then people, especially younger girls, are left believing that this is how they're born, or if they go to the gym for 3 hours every single day,
They're gonna look like
look
that.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's not the reality of it. So I agree. I think if that's how you make your living, you should do what you want, but just be honest about it, because then
Yeah.
you're misleading people, right?
Be
So
upfront and be upfront for your audience, right?
yeah.
Which I've seen many influencers do, and many are open about it. And then there are also those who like to keep people guessing, and I mean, yeah, that can lead to a bunch of problems. There certainly is this level of toxicity, in that field, and it's almost like, uh, like I said, like when we were talking about stepping into the weight room for the first time, it can be super intimidating to see someone who's like pretty much already at your dream physique, and it definitely was for me. But in a lot of ways, you can kind of turn that around and use that for some fuel, use that for some motivation, like I said, going back to that point of like watering your own grass, right?
Yeah.
Not to be too distracted by others, and that you versus you concept, to kind of keep that in mind throughout it. But there's a level of it that can become unhealthy too. You don't want to use it to distract yourself from your emotions, to distract yourself from other things in life. It can be an escape in a healthy way, but when it starts being your only escape is when it can be something that starts to become a little bit unhealthy, especially, when it comes to counting calories or wanting to look a specific certain way all the time. So I mean, there are a bunch of guys who speaking so generally, but I feel like it's a huge problem within males, like young males and young male teens, to look a certain way and be a certain way and be big and strong and manly and athletic. And a lot of times young men will see these very accessible enhancements that are just a click of a button away, unfortunately, that are in this kind of gray zone of not illegal but not necessarily legal either, and mess up their futures and their bodies by taking these things just to look a certain way temporarily. And it's so not worth it, because if you just kind of keep progressing naturally, you can achieve the same thing. It's just going to take a little bit longer. But you don't have kind of those health risks and stuff. And there's so many. There's so many of them. There's so many health risks. There's so many of these things that are available for people to take, that sort of speed up the process, but have some very negative adverse effects. So
even when you're at the gym, like I think your form is super important. Like my brother's really gotten into it, and the other day, like usually he works out in the basement, but the other day he was doing it in front of me and he showed me how he did a squat, for example, and I was like, no, that's totally not how you do it. And like he's been doing this for a month now, so I said, no wonder, like it hurts first of all, and you're not seeing results because it's not the right way. So having someone to check, and following some type of professional or some video online is super, like it's super important, because
it's so helpful.
you don't want to injure yourself.
There are a bunch of YouTube workouts to follow. There's so many good channels
and
that help
stretching
with
before and after.
Yeah, stretching. I need to get better in that. I just made an Instagram post about it to keep myself accountable. I was like, I'm going to practice more active stretching. That's what I'm going to do. It's a goal of mine. I'm implementing it. So form's super important, especially if you're doing things like squats, deadlifts, bench press, lifting heavy weights with a good form. Otherwise, you're going to take out things like your shoulder, your hamstrings, like your lower back. You're going to take out things like that. They're not going to work properly if you have good form and you keep on doing it after a while. That's where people like personal trainers can come in handy. They can really come and correct you. And I did a couple personal training sessions with one of the personal trainers at Good Life when I first started, and I can't recommend it enough. It was a really good session. And it comes with a free body fat percentage measurement, which is super cool. They put you in this machine, they measure your body fat, they kind of tell you what you need to work on. They ask you what your goals are, and they work with you towards that. So super cool.
It shows you like your muscle mass, body fat, water percentage. It's all it's good
really
stuff.
Cool. Really, really cool. So I can't recommend that enough. And also personal trainers are there to kind of keep you accountable too. There's nothing better than to have a person, it's just like a teacher, right? And doing private one-on-one tutoring. There's nothing better than to have another person there holding you accountable. It's another reason for you to go. It's another reason for you to show up if you're struggling or having trouble to do so. And that's why some people do it, because they need someone there to have that confidence to push them to, to do it, and in some cases to push them to the limit. And I think that can be healthy in some ways too. And there's no greater feeling than achieving, a goal in fitness. I feel like it's like such a really cool golden moment. You achieve something that, the version of you that, was around last year wouldn't have even thought of achieving, so it's like super cool. And I feel like I can say that about myself. I mean, it's not a lot of weight, but I feel like I hit a 305 deadlift the other day, and I only weigh 156 pounds. So like, I was like super happy about that.
That's double your weight pretty much.
Yeah. My bench press PR right now is 190 pounds. Not quite at that 225 mark yet that everybody's always talking about, but I'm definitely like crossing the threshold. But I didn't start out that, like I could barely do 135, which is kind of like the minimum for a lot of people.
That's still a lot.
Sorry, not minimum. I take that back.
No, I'm joking. It's because I think in general, I feel like maybe, I guess females are not as strong up top, right? So sometimes I feel like even with my 10-pound weight, I'm struggling a little.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just thinking about my category.
No, for sure,
but,
yeah.
I like to think of having the two 45-pound plates on either side kind of thing. That's kind of like, I want that to be my basis always, but everyone's journey is different. And then I've also seen girls who can like outlift me. So,
really,
like, yeah, 100%, especially when it comes to squats and leg presses and all of that stuff. So, yeah.
I think it's all again, it's all relative to each person, right? So again, if you start doing 5 pounds and can work up to 10 pounds in 2 weeks, great. If you go from 195 to 225, great. Like it's you versus you. So
for me lately, like what I've been doing is I've been trying to push myself to do 2.5 to 5 pounds heavier each week. And I found like that's a really good goal to stick with, because you'd be surprised at how fast you can get your numbers up just by doing 2.5, an extra 2.5 pounds each week. And it's like doing it safely with good form still, not sacrificing form just so you can get that weight up. There's a lot of like ego lifting that tends to go on, especially with guys, just to say like, oh yeah, I hit that number, but like, okay, but you were like, your knees, buckled, like your back was not in the right spot for that, like your shoulder definitely popped at one point. Like it's no, we want to avoid that at all costs. And that's again where the flexibility and the mobility training can come into play, and that's why that's super important. But yeah, there's a lot to this, and I feel like this is a conversation I could just go on and on about, and I'm still learning more about it every single day.
That's an interesting thing. I think every few months, there'll be something new that comes up, or a new supplement you should be taking, or you find out about, okay, I remember during lockdown, for example, for one of the influencers, her name was Chloe Ting, her workouts went just completely viral. I think her views, shot up, and people found that it was really effective. So again, I think that's the nice thing about social media. So the nice thing about TikTok is you are informed in like all different aspects, not necessarily just pictures or what's going on with your friends, but things that can actually help you out, like these things too.
Totally. I tried a new workout that I saw on TikTok the other day. It was for legs, glutes. It was for your glutes and hamstrings. So you put your foot, where you see the typically where you see people doing the machine for the chest cable press. So they have one arm here, they're doing the chest cable press. So you bring those all the way down. You're still using the same rope with the handle at the end, but you're putting it on your leg. So, over your shoe and on where your knee is, and you're kicking your leg back. At an angle, right? You've seen those before. So I'm not typically someone who is focused a lot on my glutes. So I did that the other day because I saw it on TikTok and I tried it and I was like, whoa. The next day and a half, I think I was walking downstairs funny because it was so intense. My students were like, Mr. B, are you okay? And I was like, Nope, I'm good. Keep going, keep going. And you get cool stuff like that off of TikTok, off of these social media influencers sometimes that are super effective, which is super cool. And even during the pandemic, all the home workouts that came out, there are so many out there. Fraser Wilson has a bunch of really great ab routines, really great at-home chest routines. He has ones where you can just use like one dumbbell and get a really, really great exercise out of.
Wow.
Zeus Fitness is another really great one on YouTube. That's if like you have a couple dumbbells at home, you know, even if they're super lightweight, he does high intensity interval training.
Okay.
He has classes that you can follow. He implements cardio before his weightlifting and after his weightlifting, which is super cool. So if you want to challenge yourself, you know, you can do that. Yeah, really good workouts overall. There's a ton of resources out there. So it's really, you know, it's up to you. We talked today about how it can change multiple aspects of your life and fuel you in so many ways, physical fitness. So yeah, I think a pretty good talk today. We missed our other two co-hosts, but yeah, that's okay. We had a good talk about fitness today.
We did, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And no, we everyone who's listening, you know, we encourage you all to start your own fitness journey, whatever that may be. You know, fitness starts literally anywhere, whether it's in the kitchen, at the gym, at home. Do what makes you feel better, and ultimately, you know, you will see that progress. And it's about feeling good on the outside, and it's about feeling good on the outside and inside, and it'll definitely reflect in, you know, your work ethic, your mood, everything. So it's never not a good time to start. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our session for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we hope you took something out of the session, and we'll see you again next week for some more interesting conversations. So yeah, have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Bye for now.